Staying with my desired research subject this week, that of being crops, conversions, or conflicts, Native Americans, and Mormon interactions during westward expansionism, I continue to expand my research into the America History and Life database. Unlike previous attempts at finding clear information that would help my study, the American History and Life database pulled up over 7 articles that tie very close into my research. I reviewed 3 of this for this video and saved the others for continued research. The first article was based upon a talk given by Elder Marlin K. Jensen. Elder Jensen is a general authority in the Mormon Church and is also their official church historian and recorder, a position that has been active in their church since 1830. Elder Jensen is an advocate for historical openness in his church, directing other church historians to not operate within an apologetic capacity, but instead in an open, candid, and fair way about their history. Elder Jensen gave a talk on July 24, 2010, a significant day as the July 24th is celebrated as the day that the Mormon pioneers entered the Salt Lake Valley. Entitled The Rest of the Story, Latter-day Saints' Relations with Utah's Native Americans, Elder Jensen uses the terminology the rest of the story like Paul Harvey used to do when delivering a radio monologue. In this talk, Elder Jensen points out the slight irony of a displaced people entering into a valley and then displacing another group of people who would now then also become displaced. His view it was not malicious in nature, as there was also doctrinal reasons for the pioneers to view Indians in a favorable light. Indeed, Indians held a distinctive place in Latter-day Saint theology. According to the Book of Mormon, Indians were a branch of the house of Israel, and the Lord had made significant promises to them through ancient prophets. These prophets encouraged a mutually respectful relationships between the saints and Indians. According to Latter-day Saint teachings, neither group would be able to completely fulfill their destiny without the other. Elder Jensen points out that their church holds a collection of some 80 letters written between the Mormon prophet Brigham Young and Native leaders during this time. This could open a potential boon to my research if I could gain access to the information in those letters. Thus, it will be an avenue of research I will aggressively pursue. Overall, the talk offers a positive view of Mormon settlement and only gives a surface level of accounting over the 2 wars waged against the native peoples. The next paper I found helpful was a distinction between Mormons and Americans by Brent M. Rogers. In Rogers' paper, he seeks to view the relationship of Mormon-Native interactions through federal Indian laws and national perceptions of Mormon-Indian relations. Rogers speaks of the early trading relationship that developed between the dominant native groups and the Mormon settlers, the federal government's unease over the growing alliance that seemed to be forming between the 2 groups. Roger also discusses how Mormon policies and interactions towards the native population was often based upon their sincere belief of the native people's Jewish lineage. Overall, the paper is well crafted and does cite and reference the letters previously mentioned between Young and the native leaders, thus showing that those letters should be a resource I can effectively use. Overall, I will review this paper more in depth in order to see how I can use it to help my research goals. The last paper review is by Benjamin Lundquist, entitled Testimony of the Senses, Latter-day Saints and the Civilized Soundscape. Lundquist takes an interesting approach and discusses the use of music by the Mormons to try and civilize the native peoples in the Great Basin region. Mormons are well known for their tabernacle choir, who have sung at major national events including 7 presidential inaugurations. Lundquist makes the argument that in order to assert their claims to the land that they had settled and to overcome their marginalized status, Latter-day Saints would use the sounds of the Mormon Tabernacle Choir to convince Easterners that they had successfully settled and colonized a large part of the American West, and that, without crying or whimpering, they had subdued the desert and made it serve them. The ultimate argument made by Lundquist is that the Mormons used music in their choir to project that they were indeed a civilized people, and they were to be the de facto rulers of the Great Basin region. As though their music they projected their civilization back to the East Coast in an effort to quell distrust and apprehension about Mormon interactions with the native populations. Overall, Lundquist offers an interesting tidbit and does have some information that is worthwhile looking into, but overall I do not fully agree with his assessment on the use of music to normalize Eastern American views about the religion in general and their eventual relationships with the native populations. There is a number of other articles in the American Historical Life database that I will continue to research in order to expand my overall depth of body of research.